What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shona 71, aka Digadula Mike.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
A little late on the uptake, sir.
And your auditory canals are tuned into episode 279 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. And as usual, I am not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, got my partners in crime. First on deck is Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Hater Lover.
I'm a lover now because this video
Okay.
finally stepped up, so I'm a lover now.
aka the Cat Daddy, aka that gamer stepdaddy. What's going on, man?
Hey, as always, not much. Happy to be back. Thank you for sticking with us. Every now and then you just gotta take some time off for yourself, but we are back and stronger than ever. So let's get this show started. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Of course, our show's a no-go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. What's going on, man?
Feeling better. Yeah, we didn't record last weekend because I got some sort of pox, so I had like some upper lower respiratory business. And so, yeah, it was just like, God forbid, I even took one day off of work. Oh my God. But it actually started because I had Thursday, Friday off of last week. And of course I got sick during my scheduled time off. So, lo and behold, but, I'm much better now. So, hey, we're here. We're back. And we're ready to roll. So,
very good. Yeah, there is definitely something going around. About a month ago, I got slammed. It just drained me of energy, and I was like coughing all the time. So, there's definitely something going on. It wasn't COVID because I went to the doctor to give me a test for that. So, it's probably something similar to what you have, like had possibly a viral infection. That's what they diagnosed me with back then. So I feel you.
Good old Sudafed and some Tussin. So
yeah.
Always.
Yeah. The hallmarks of illness. So we're going to kick things off with what is always our first topic on the docket. We got the playlist dropping. So I think I'm gonna go first this time for a change of pace. So real quick, because I really haven't been playing much other than the game of life, so I have not been on very much. But I was in the process of selling my Steam Deck, and I pushed my Steam library. Well, it's not really pushed. You just put Steam on I put Steam on my mini PC. And I downloaded all the games that I had, and didn't really have that many games, but during the process, I downloaded a game that I forgot that I had, and it is a game that's probably going around maybe 9 or 10 years old now when it first dropped. It's called River City Underground. I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of it or played it.
I don't think so.
I think I bought it, but yeah, I remember you talking about it previously. So
okay, RCU as it's called is a River City action RPG with very, very, very light RPG elements, and the only reason I would call it RPG is because there's like a bunch of hidden spaces, a bunch of hidden areas, and if you really have to kind of learn where you're going. The world is much bigger than River City Girls, the modern day version of it, in River City Girls and River City Girls 2. But it's also the game that kind of introduced some of the newer characters to the series, like Provi, who is like the break dancer, and gosh, there's another one I was just about to say, but it escapes me right now. But basically, it is kind of a throwback to when games didn't hold your hand. It is a beat 'em up. is a brawler with the River City, with the old school River City art style to it. And basically, you're trying to save the city has been overrun by criminals, escaped inmates, dejected wrestlers, and
All the fun people.
a mix of like disgruntled university students that throw beakers of chemicals at you. It is absolute craziness, and you have to basically when you find the way you unlock a playable character is you discover them, you fight them, and then they will join your cause to overthrow this big bad that broke out of prison that is causing all this havoc going on in the city. And it is one of the most in-depth beat 'em ups you're going to find. You have to really know what moves to unlock, because there are some moves that are 100% useless depending on what character you're using. And then there are some moves that are absolutely critical for building your combos up. But the game doesn't tell you which ones are which. So I pretty much had to go. And this is a game that's probably close to 10 years old now. So it's not new. So I went on a little YouTube dive and started looking for hints on okay, what am I not doing? Because my combos don't look like the ones I see on these videos. And I found a couple focusing on the character that I'm using, who is Paul, who is a boxer. And basically, if Dudley was in River City, that's basically who Paul is. He's got uppercuts that juggle. He's got a very Terry Bogard-ish spark move that knocks people into the air, and he's basically got the Rolling Thunder special.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So he's got a
inspiration.
Very much inspiration. Very cool character, and he's got a dash punch. Very reminiscent of Dudley's ducking strike, I believe it's called in Third Strike. Very cool, and I just kind of got lost in it in that game for an hour or two. Loaded the game where I was and had to go on YouTube to figure out, okay, where am I supposed to be going now? And I made some progress in that. That game is a lot of fun. At the time, I think I got it on sale, so it was probably, $1 or $2 when I downloaded it. I don't know what its going rate is now on Steam, but if you like beat 'em ups and you like the River City franchise, and you're on Steam, you definitely want to check that game out. And the other game that I played just a little bit of just before we started recording was Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. And I've been watching some videos of it, some high level play, the first couple of tournaments held by Tampa Never Sleeps, and I can't remember the name of the other company that held a tournament for it. Really, I like the game, but seeing some of the high level play from the specialty characters, namely that DJ dude, I can't remember his name, and the soccer player, they are. What's a good one? They're overpowered in my opinion. If you do not understand the games or know how to utilize just defense, and there's another move I'm gonna like a rev blow, and you don't understand how to use the different variations of rev blow, because there's a ducking rev blow and there's a standing rev blow depending on what attack is coming at you. You may end up getting blown up unless you're using Kine. Kine is just kind of like if you played Mark of the Wolves, he was one of the big bads he was the second to last big bad in Mark of the Wolves, Geese's brother-in-law, and he's a son of a bitch. His fireball makes him safe by pushing him back. He can cover the air by throwing two fireballs at the time. He's almost like a more irritating Akuma in some ways. But I think there's going to be some future patches that are going to tone those guys. Kine is not getting toned down because he wasn't toned down in Mark of the Wolves at all. I mean, granted, that was the time where they weren't patching anything. But I think there are so many kind players. If they nerfed him in any way, they probably get pissed. So they're probably not going to do anything with him. But I feel that they're going to start nerfing the DJ and the soccer player because their active frames in their attacks are wild. It's like you really don't know when you can attack them, and you really have to understand how to use your defensive options. You can't just simply block and fight those guys. You're going to get blown up if the person knows what they're doing. But I spend a little bit of time in the lab in practice mode. I went through a couple of the tutorials, so I have a better understanding of how the rev system works. I don't feel fully confident with it. For lack of a better word, it's like EX moves in Street Fighter. They're amped up moves that burn your rev gear, your rev up meter, or actually add to it, because in this, when your meter goes up is bad, as in most fighting games where your meter goes up, that's a good thing. In City of the Wolves, when that meter goes up, it's a bad thing. So you want to do things that are going to lower your meter, meaning land attacks, do regular special moves, land combos, all those things keep your meter down. And they also build up your rev gear meter. And the rev gear meter is what allows you to do all the super specials. The game is fun. It is graphically beautiful. I wasn't because I've been looking at it for the most part on YouTube, which is how, obviously YouTube is very compressed.
Mm-hmm.
City of the Wolves is like one of the best looking 2D games I've seen in a long time. Now, it is not like Guilty Gear beautiful from that standpoint, where you can tell that they use 3D models in a 2D plane, but they captured that 90s feel of the real bout games graphically in a modernized interpretation of that art style, and it really works. I'm playing it on my TV with 65-inch OLED, and I really was surprised at how pretty this game is. The theme song is straight out of the 90s. It's got this, this deep, kind of this guitar riff going through it, and the lyrics don't make any sense, and it's Fatal Fury through and through. So I'm really, really looking forward to jumping into this game with both feet. I've picked a main. My main is probably going to be Marco. I'm gonna go with Marco, and from probably my secondary character is either going to be Terry or Dong Juan, one of Kim Kafwan's sons. He's a beast in this game. Like his rev moves, like his only weakness is like getting inside, because he has no projectiles, but once he's in your face, it's just like Kim. It's like, yeah, good luck getting away from that. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to getting more into the meat of this game. And this is probably going to be my fighting game that I'm going to be playing It's pretty much my only fighting game because I've given up the idea that I'm going to play more than one. It's just like it's not feasible. This is
Yeah,
going
it
to
was
be it.
great. When we played at TGS, it was great. So
Yeah,
that's
I enjoyed it. I mean, I bought it just like you, Kev. I just haven't fired it up yet. So,
Mhm.
I bought a Hori Octa fighting pad too. I just got that in, and I am sending that right back to Amazon. So,
not a fan.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a review of somebody that was really trashing it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I'm definitely going to be interested in hearing what your review of that. So
there's no
that
review. I haven't opened the box. I figured after the couple bad reviews I saw, basically they were saying that the analog stick is too close to the actual D-pad, so you actually wind up hitting the analog stick trying to do like forward quarter circle and that kind of thing. So basically, it's the point that like one reviewer, he wound up removing the analog stick entirely because it got in his way. So it's like,
Mm.
dang, that's wild.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Well,
So
I,
for
you never
a
hear about that.
$100 gamepad for me, I purchased it from Amazon. I have not opened the box, and I am sending that SOB right back. So, because I got other Hori Octopad controllers. I have a recent 8-bit Do controller I picked up that's kind of shaped like the Saturn pad a little bit for Xbox, but since I don't have an Xbox anymore, through the power of converters, I should see if I can get it to work on PlayStation. So.
okay. Well, that's really all I had for the week. So I'm going to pass the mic to Jabroni Chief. Why don't you continue on what you've been playing, man?
Well, since we last recorded, me and Desmond basically fast passed, and we got to the end of Borderlands 3. So we finished the campaign finally. So Desmond, you could say it for yourself, but you wanted to fast track it, not do any of the side content, not look for all the little nooks and crannies in each level. You just wanted to like maybe get this game done and over with. So we went ahead and did that. How many sessions do we have? We have one or two, I think. I think it was two. So
I think it was two. I think you're right.
yeah. So we got to the end of the game, pretty much just kind of powered our way through it. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the ending kind of was kind of it wasn't like a shock to me. I kind of told Desmond what I thought the plot went in, and it did end in the way I thought. So on there. So, and pretty much at that point, me and Des have not played Borderlands 3. I've been still kind of picking it apart. It's almost like, I'm at the stage where I'm, looking at the rotisserie chicken, look for any scrap of meat left on the bone, basically. So,
It sure is.
so I've been going through some of the levels, looking at some of the stuff that, we didn't complete, and going back in and grabbing like any of the like Typhon de Leon like points on there. Looking at the hunts with Zero, I got like a trophy yesterday because I found them all in the game, and so at some point I think I'm gonna go in. I was playing around with the mayhem level in the game. Basically, after you beat the game, you open up a bunch of other side content. But you have the ability to be able to bump up the difficulty, and if you bump up the difficulty, you get better loot, basically, better loot drops. And so it's like I was experimenting with that, and it's a point that I'm like kind of torn because I like the fact that once you bump up the difficulty, you get better guns and better gear, but at the same time, you're basically taking something that for all intents and purposes is done and over with, and I'm making it harder for me to play and get through, so it's like, am I there to gather more loot, or am I there to basically complete the game and do the like side content, story content afterwards? And so I'm kind of torn whether I want to bump up the difficulty and make it harder for me to complete the side content, or whether I just want to like power my way through my current levels and maybe do some of the DLC in my spare time on there. I was playing the game less this last week. It's more of a thing where I just threw it on maybe at the end of a gaming session just to kind of power through, like gather a couple items, that kind of thing. Look for stuff in the environment, so on and so forth. I'll probably look at some of the story sequences afterwards and kind of go from there. Maybe look at playing some of the DLC throughout the summer on there just to keep that going. I got back into Monster Hunter Wilds a little bit, especially with the current festival that's going on right now. Obviously they introduced Mitsuzune. I played against Mitsuzune a little bit on here, and I've been still plugging away at the high rank story sequences and whatnot after beating the main campaign on there. So currently right now Capcom does have a seasonal event going. It's the Blossom Dance. It's the first seasonal event for Monster Hunter Wild. So they've been doing like basically the limited bounty quest every day versus every week on there, and they got some little things going on, little cherry blossoms as far as in the hub area. They introduced the hub area in the last update, so there's got a place where you could kind of go similar to prior Monster Hunters in the past, and go in and drink at tables, arm wrestle, and they even got some bowling in there and whatnot, so it's like almost like a multiplayer hub that you can go in and kind of experience for yourself on there. And so Hunter rank right now, I'm up to Hunter rank 73, and what I've kind of found out as I've been playing the game more is that I've been using the lance more and more and the greatsword less and less on there. So I've been kind of loving the fact that I could get in there all up in the guts, basically, using my shield and not having to worry about, I even noticed when I play greatsword now, I try to defend because there is a move with greatsword that you could actually try to block as well.
Yep.
On there. So I've been blocking more using greatsword versus just going in there and wailing and doing that. So there's a little bit more purpose with everything I've been doing on there. But I'm still enjoying the game quite a bit. I'm looking forward to getting to the end game. I know our listener Grenil, my friend Grenil, he's kind of beat everything he's wanted to beat in the game, but that he's waiting for the next monster to drop, which is going to be Lagricus from Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on there. I'm kind of curious as far as when that content drops, how they're going to do the combat with him, because he was an underwater monster in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. So it's just the point that I just thought I'm just really enjoying it, so it's a little bit different to me. Wilds is a little bit different from playing Rise. I really enjoyed Rise quite a bit too. So I'm hoping that the Rise team is actually working on maybe a Monster Hunter game. Maybe that's going to launch on the Switch too. That can kind of bring something else to the table while, Capcom reiterates off Wilds as well. So, and then also
Rise 2, huh?
Rise 2, or if there's a sequel to that, because they've always had two separate teams working on stuff. The same team that did Rise did Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate for the Switch on there. So they had like a portable team working on quote unquote portable Monster Hunters, and they had their console team working on like World and now Wilds on there. So I'm pretty sure, Monster Hunter makes that money. So it's not like they don't have teams working on the game side by side, in my opinion. So
yeah, that's right.
There, so, but we'll see, from there. Also, I actually fired up for the first time in a long old time because I was sick and I wanted to kind of play games in bed. And so I fired up and was playing around with my Switch OLED on here. And so I grabbed a couple of games and I wound up settling on playing Golf Story, which is a kind of story-based indie like golf game, and it's a little bit different than the usual like Hot Shots or something of that ilk, where Hot Shots is more dedicated towards actually just a game of golf and kind of a golf RPG. This is more like a story-based game where you're actually going in and you're playing as a character that played golf as a kid with his dad, and now it's like 20 years later, and now he wants to rekindle the old playing golf and going back to the old golf course that he played with his father as a kid. And so I don't got all the plot points ready, but pretty much it's kind of teaching you how to play the game. And I thought the game, for what it was worth, is pretty damn whimsical and just kind of fun to play And so I've been playing it mainly on my Switch in portable mode, which is kind of, I usually always was like, 99%, hook it up to a TV, or I want nothing but my TV play. But I could see where, last couple times I've traveled, I've mainly been using the Steam Deck, but I could easily see about, taking the Switch with me as well on there, which kind of leads me to also to, since we last recorded our big Switch 2 news extravaganza, but I wound up managed to pre-order a couple of Switch 2s. So the pre-order for the system came out on the 24th on there, which would have been Thursday, which was like basically Wednesday night on the 23rd on here. But I managed to pre-order a system for both myself and also for Dez. So yeah, I've got pretty much two systems. If you're not a member of our Discord, you kind of missed it, because it was John BT, it was Goonie. We all basically were playing Monster Hunter online on Wednesday night, and then at around 8:30 Pacific time, 11:30 Eastern time, we all got off Monster Hunter and hopped on the Discord and got our browsers up and going, and we were all just waiting for the shoe to drop at 9 o'clock Pacific time for the pre-orders to drop. And so both John BT and Goonie both got their systems prior to me getting my system, and so even John BT bowed out. I was at two browsers open and plus my phone, and so I was trying to my damnness to cart out. I managed to get a system through Target and then got it canceled all in one fell swoop. And so lo and behold, no Target Switch 2 bundle for me, but both John BT and Goonie kind of checked in with me later on in the evening, but I confirmed with them that I did go and pick up not one but two systems, since Mr. Dez was out playing D&D that night, so
I was.
You guys get the bundle or the console?
I got the Mario Kart bundle. It seemed like the day after at GameStop that they had more Mario Kart bundles available than the actual just regular console itself, and so I'm thinking that Nintendo are making more bundles available than the actual system solo on there. So I haven't pre-ordered anything else as far as accessories or games or anything like that, but I figured I'll take a look at the launch lineup and kind of go from there as far as what's on the system. I have like maybe one game in mind besides grabbing Mario Kart World on launch day on there, but since there's a lot of ports on there, I kind of want to take a look exactly to see what I'm spending my money on per se. I'm more curious about running Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 right now, to be honest. So, but pretty much that's been my last couple weeks since we last recorded. I mean, pretty much it's been still some of the usual stuff, but still, I'm looking to play some different stuff. I know Dez has a couple games on his list. Eternal Strands is something I purchased as well to take a look at. So, I mean, I'm looking to maybe mix it up, as it gets towards the summer. So, Dez, what you been playing? What you been up to?
Okay, well, I've been playing the old hotness, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. That was shadow dropped earlier this week. Bought it day of, and I have been playing it, and I have been loving it. Oblivion was my first foray into the Elder Scrolls, and I'm having such a great time with it. Just super enjoying it. It's just a great game. It looks fantastic. It plays really well. You still, you still make fugly characters for whatever reason. They just don't like you to have, pretty looking characters. So it's funny. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the game that has been taking the bulk of my time as of late. But before that, I did start playing ESO again. This was after Joe and I got done with Borderlands. I really just kind of wanted another, like, I was just missing ESO. Like, I really enjoy ESO as a as a story, as lore, and all that good stuff. So for me, I just really wanted that again. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through and I'm going to play this game. So I went and downloaded it and I started playing it. And of course, when I play, RPGs, I get heavy into, creating characters and all this good stuff. So I created a couple characters, played a couple of quests. I had some subscription benefits that I had, so I was able to get some. So I subscribed for a couple years ago. I subscribed and got some stuff, so I was able to take some of that stuff and buy some of the new DLC. So that was fun. And yeah, I mostly just played around with that and just had a ball. It was really a lot of fun. And then after that, I started playing this game called Tevi. Tevi is a Metroidvania RPG, meaning you level up, you learn all these different combo moves, and there's all these people who, for whatever reason, want to fight you. So, and Tevi is this. So it's sort of almost like I'm trying to think of a really good word. So you'll have these moves, and you have your little dagger, and you have your move, and as you're running around with your dagger, you can do these combos, you can do these juggles, and you have two projectile weapons that are actually housed by these robots. And it's just a very silly story with beast people who look like furries, and but the combat is really, really good, and you can create your own battle styles, because what you do is you get these little things that are called like magic attack, and she's one of the only people who can utilize them to their full potential and actually augment herself with them, as she's sort of like an engineer / treasure hunter. And you're going through trying to stop these evil people from misusing it, but she's kind of like a bad girl. And I don't know, it's fun. Like the combat is actually really fun to play. It's side scrolling, and you fight a lot of people. Like that's the thing about it is you fight your friends, and so because your friends are always trying to prove how cool they are, or you always have to beat someone up for them to join your side. There's always someone acting a fool, and Tevi has to beat the crap out of them to get them in line. It's just a very wacky story, but the combat is really solid. And I've been wanting to play this game for a while, and it got pretty good reviews, and it was on sale. And I was like, I'll just pick it up. I'll just pick it up because it was on sale, and it was really inexpensive. And so I did, and I'm really happy that I did, because it's really good. It's really good. And I know, Kev, you're not a fan of like a lot of Metroidvanias, but I think you'd like this one because of the combat and how you're able to how you're able to utilize the air juggles when you're fighting people, and then they start to telegraph certain moves. It was just really good. It was just a really good game. So, and I got it for PS5, and I was just like, okay, and it's been a lot of fun. And
sounds like it was like that one with the rabbit with the gauntlets. I can't remember the name of it.
Fist.
Yeah.
It's not like Fist. It's a lot more cutesy and anime like. So that's the one that is definitely the difference. But it was a lot of fun. It's sort of the sequel to a game called Ribby Rabby, Rabby Ribby, one of them things. So it is a sequel to that game. So it has that sort of play style, but it's really good. I think it's definitely worth a try. And as I said, it was not that expensive at all. So definitely worth a try. And then the last game I played, and again it was on sale. PSN had a pretty nice sale, and I went through and just kind of bought a couple of games, and it was Eternal Strands. So Eternal Strands sort of had that. Have you ever played, what was that game? Phoenix Rising. I think that's what
Are
it
you talking
was.
about Immortals Phoenix Rising?
Yes. Yeah, Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's sort of like that in the game you so it has the climbing mechanic like Zelda and Phoenix Rising, and you're this vessel of magic, and you have to use your magic and in with the environment in order to get around, to stun your opponents, and to create bridges and all this other stuff. And it's fantastical. You play as this, I think it's called a seer, and they are outlawed because of some calamity that happened in the past, and the area where all these people lived has this huge barrier, and you're trying to break back into the area where your people came from, and that's kind of what this is. And so you spend your time sort of plotting out this area that you've tried to get into, and there's various different monsters and whatnot that are going around that you have to help out. So it is really kind of fun. I've really enjoyed it so far. It looks really nice. It's not too hard, and you just, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. So I've been really kind of like happy with the games that I've been playing lately, and just kind of exploring, other things, because we played a lot of Borderlands, and which is not bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm super excited for Borderlands 4. I just need to play something else for a while, and Joe and I are kind of looking for another multiplayer game to play together. So if you know anything, maybe let us know. But that's really all that I have been playing, honestly. So yeah. If you haven't got Oblivion 4 and you're a fan, you should check it out. It's pretty dope. I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's pretty dope. So yeah.
Okay.
Make it work, folks.
Work.
Make it work.
All right. So that's going to move us to our next topic on the docket, and we've got a main event for you this episode. So I am passing the mic to Des. Go ahead, sir.
All righty. So for this it seems like this has been a month since we've had this main event. It is, let me see. It is, what game have you spent the most time playing? If you want, you can give us your top 3. What was it that made you spend so much time playing it? And we got one response, and the response we got was from John BT, and he says, so I checked my PlayStation time, and in reverse order, my games are number 3, Monster Hunter Rise. Technically, it's higher if I add my Switch play. That's true, but I mean, I think that would count. Number 2 is Baldur's Gate 3. This will go to number 1 if I go back and do it as planned this year. And number 1 is one of the best multiplayer games of all time, Outriders. Okay, There you go. Also, Division 2 lost to Rise by 1 hour, so it should be up there. Wow. Okay. I mean, yeah, I could definitely understand Monster Hunter Rise. Like, we played the crap out of that game. And Baldur's Gate 3, I still, like, Goonie and Joe and I never really got back to it, and I really kind of want to. But yeah, I can understand that. And then, of course, Outriders was a tremendous game, fantastic game. We played that game till the cows came home. Like, it was good. Like, I really enjoyed that damn game. Still do. Still do, and I cannot wait for them to make a sequel. I really hope they make a sequel. Please make a sequel. Kev, what games? What was your number 1, 2, and 3, or just number 1 if you have them?
I really didn't check.
Okay.
I've been so tied up, but I'm gonna make a guess that my number one is probably Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
When I was playing, that game was just my go-to for the reason that it's just fun to run around and just shoot up a bunch of bugs and shoot up a bunch of robots. And now we got the Illuminate, which are basically space zombies. And there's supposed to be another enemy that has been hinted at with I think, one of the more recent mission orders. So the variation in loadouts that you can do. I don't play with a group of people. As I said before, I've had not so fun results playing with randos. So I also like the challenge of completing higher difficulty levels solo. I've been watching and I mean, not other YouTubers, as if I'm a YouTuber, I'm not, but I've been watching YouTubers do this, and I've been getting ideas for solo loadouts and kind of switching and changing and applying to my own personal preferences. Right now, my default loadout is a combination of fire and gas. I unlocked the gas drone, and I will take the flamethrower secondary weapon. Sometimes I will take I forget what they call it. It's basically a flamethrower as a primary. But more than not, I will take the tenderizer because it's good. Either the tenderizer or the reprimand. The reprimand probably is the better option because it punches through medium bug armor like it's melted butter. Its only downside is that it really needs a bigger magazine. But that's kind of like what I take right now. And it's fighting the bugs with that loadout is just a whole lot of fun. You just got to make sure that you have an armor set that is either immune to gas or fire. I take the one that's immune to fire for the most part because to me it's harder to get around the flames than it is to get around the gas. And the gas confuses the bugs and makes them fight each other. And once they get into that mode, it greatly reduces their, I guess, for lack of a better word, armor or their resistance. And so you're taking out much bigger bugs with higher armor ratings with that gas. Because at first, when the gas first came out, I thought it was a joke. I said, so you're really going to tell me you got 1,000,001 bugs coming at you? You're going to wait and run around and wait for them to get affected by the gas? Well, they buffed that and they made the gas is super effective now. So particularly if you're running solo, I don't know how effective it is if you're running with a party because you're going to be setting a whole bunch of your teammates on fire or gassing them to death if they don't have the gas or flame-proof armor set. But yeah, I'm going to go with Helldivers 2 as my number one. I don't really know what my number 2 or 3 would be. If I had to guesstimate, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, I'd probably guess that it's probably number 2 right now is either going to be Monster Hunter and actually number 2 is probably going to be Assassin's Creed Shadows. Because I've been playing that a lot when I have time to play. Like that has just been what I have been playing. And probably number 3 I'm going to guess is Monster Hunter. I kind of fell off of Monster Hunter not because I don't like the game or got bored of it or anything. It's just I got other things to do besides
that's
play.
Real. That's real.
So that's my 3.
Cool. Alrighty. So Joe, What are your three, buddy?
I could even do like 10, but it just depends on what you guys
No,
want.
dude, just top three.
Top three.
You don't gotta like put it out there like that. You don't gotta. You gotta do that.
Okay. All right. Well, as far as what's on PlayStation, I'll just kind of read this off here at least. My number 3 would be Tom Clancy's The Division 2. Have me logged in with playing 618 hours in total on
Jeez.
PlayStation. Number 2 is going to be Destiny 2. I have 655 hours played in Destiny 2. I have not played it. Says the last time I played it was 5 years ago. So, riddle me that. I've played it on other platforms too, like both PC and Xbox a little bit. So it's up there. And then my number 1 on PlayStation, Destiny 1. I have pretty much logged in 2,367 hours of Destiny 1 on there. So,
Wow.
And if I'm gonna think anything non-PlayStation like other platforms, I probably would say from back in the day, Phantasy Star Online episode 1 and 2 on here because I played the literal like crap out of that game, both on the GameCube when it came out originally and also on the Xbox. The thing about the GameCube is I wound up losing like a couple of characters. I think one of the characters I lost because of a memory card issue. I had a character that was like level 79, and then I had lost another character that was level like 131. Level cap in that game was like 200, so it was like redonkulous as far as the amount of hours I played when I wound up losing my character and losing the save. Because there was a glitch with the memory card as far as it saving, and there was an error in saving the character over, and you wound up booting up the game the next time, and lo and behold, you don't have a saved character on your memory card. This is like the worst freaking feeling ever. So.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, okay. I mean, I could go on a little bit, but.
No, it's just you kind of stopped kind of abruptly. So I was making sure it wasn't anything else you'd like to say. Cool. Alrighty then. So for me, from number 3, it would be Destiny 2 at 302 hours. And then we have ESO. I'm an Elder Scrolls fan at 480 hours. Probably bumped that up a little bit because I've been playing it recently. And my number one, if you can believe this, is Destiny with 1,083 hours. I'm still very shocked that it is Destiny. I never thought that I would play that game. I played that game on a whim. And this is because I shit you not, Joe was talking about this game and how he wanted to play this game, and it's supposed to be so awesome. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. And I was like, okay. And he's just like, yeah, it's great. And I was like, so then I went out and I said, okay, let me buy this game because Joe's playing it. And I want to play a game with Joe, so let me go ahead and play it. So I went ahead and I bought it. And I bought it and I started playing it. And again, remember, I did not like first-person games. I did not like it. I'm a lot better at playing first-person games nowadays. So it's definitely not as bad as it was back in the day. And yeah, I started playing that damn game, and I was hooked. And I was like, this is a really fun game, and we played it a lot, as you can tell. And then Joe, like almost, I think he lapped me in the hours that he played it. So he was putting in double work on Destiny, and again, it's a fun game, and I really wish that they would, give us something new, give us something more, and just add more to that but I guess it's hard to create a new game or something. I don't know, but
you need to count to 3
or even count to 3. I don't know.
I'm curious about Marathon, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be down with the PvPvE business, but just see.
No.
No, I'm
Nah,
not
probably.
rocking. I can't. No,
No.
I watched some gameplay of that. That does not look like a game I want to spend time in. Particularly if you got to when you got to communicate with your team. That would be the game that a game. Even if I was into that, I would only play with a dedicated group of people.
Mm,
And I just don't have that kind of friends list.
yeah. Yeah.
I ain't jumping into a game like that with a bunch of knucklehead randos. Mm-mm.
I would agree. But yeah, that is our main event. Thank you so much to John BT for answering that question and giving us his answer. Really appreciate it. Next episode we will have a new question, and that's going to be from John BT that we're going to talk about. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask the community or ask us or just anything you'd like to have for the main event, just let us know. You can contact us through our Discord. Stay till the end, and Kev will tell you how to do that. Or you can always message us on Blue Sky. You can message us on YouTube. If you listen to YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe at the bottom. I do check them. So yeah, but that's it for me. And what follows me is the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right, thanks, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, good deal. So we're going to lead off. We're going to talk about Switch 2 a little bit.
Woohoo.
And it basically seems like a lot of pre-orders went live in Japan. All right, here, and a lot of the games that are third party all have been on a game key card. So if we talked about this last show, but game key cards is Nintendo's new branding for cartridges that still require the game to be downloaded from the Switch 2 online store before a game can be played. The cartridge does not contain the game data. Rather, it simply is a key that enables a download. This is a little bit different from a regular game card because they don't contain the full game data. Nintendo says instead, a game key card is your key to downloading the full game to your system via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game key card into your system and starting it up like a standard physical game card on here. So the entire list of what they've seen, at least in Japan, as far as pre-orders, this was pointed out by Gamatsu, the website, that basically, if you look, they were looking and checking out Yodobashi Camera online, and that they had a list of games on here that were all game key card logos on the packaging. And that includes like Bravely Default Flying Fairy, Kanutsugami Path of the Goddess, like Puyo Puyo Tetris 2S, Raidou Remastered, Sonic X Shadow Generation, Street Fighter 6, Sudoku 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Yakuza 0 Director's Cut on there. I know out of the third-party games listed online for Japan, there was a couple marvelous titles that included the full game on the card. That would include Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma and Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. But these are not full Switch 2 games. The Switch 2 cart has the standard Switch 1 game on the cartridge along with the Switch 2 upgrade that's included. So and there's been a lot of discussion back and forth, especially with people that enjoy physical media. Really kind of complaining, more not complaining on the publisher side, more complaining on the because they're not manufacturing these cartridges. Nintendo's manufacturing these cartridges, so there might be something. I think I mentioned last show that there is. At least the rumor is that there's not a lot of variable sizes available for third parties to be able to go ahead and put in an order for these cartridges. So I think it's either the big cartridge for the third parties or these game key cartridges. And so a lot of them are electing to do just the code on the cart instead on there. So I know the outliers, I know Cyberpunk 2077 includes the full game on the cartridge. So I'm going to kick it over to you, Des, and get your opinion first. Because what is your opinion? I mean, are you kind of leery about buying a game key cartridge, or are you just kind of take it depending on the game and what the price is, and kind of go from there?
I will definitely buy games on a our key card, is what they're calling them. I'll definitely do that. That's not an issue for me. The biggest issue for me is the fact that Nintendo is not allowing for more sizes or capacity sizes for the key cards. I do think that we would have a lot more games that is on the card if they would just allow developers to different sizes, because if you have a game that's only what 10 gigs, why are you gonna buy such a ginormous card of like 64 gigs for that price? And some folks are just, or some developers just aren't going to do that, or publishers just not going to do that. So I think it's a way for Nintendo to cut down on costs. I understand that, folks. It's bad out there, but I do think that's just not the way to cut costs, in my opinion. That's just, it just comes off as being super cheap. So I don't like that. So, but yeah, I have no desire to buy a code in a box type of situation. I don't support that or buy games like that. But the key cards, that's fine. I'll definitely do that, because even if you were to sell the game or get rid of the game or give the game to someone else, that person still has access to that game. So yeah.
Yeah, I've been debating back and forth myself. I mean, usually when you're buying games as far as codes and not buying the physical, you're kind of stuck with the game no matter what. Like I remember John BT lamenting the fact that I believe he bought Mario Kart for the Switch digitally on there, and Mario Kart for the Switch is a stinker. It was a stinker. So that's just a point that that maybe will kind of cut some risk, especially supporting a game that you're not knowing if you're going to fully like before committing to the full price. But I'm thinking to myself, it's like, okay, do I really care about these cards, or is it something where possibly do I want to go all digital? And I'm thinking these game key cards are not, in of itself by itself like the end of the world. At least they could be resold if need be. They could be reused by others. And so, I mean, I would prefer that Nintendo put the full game on the cartridge, or basically offer these game key cards only for bigger titles that they couldn't fit on a cartridge. But it is what it is on there. The only game I think that's coming out day and date that I was thinking about buying is Bravely Default Flying Fairy. And that's a lower price game for the Switch too. It's like a $40 retail game. And so that's probably the reason why, regardless of the status of the card, I'm thinking about buying it regardless, because it's something I want to check out and play on there. So we'll have to see how Nintendo kind of moves forward for the future, because I know a lot of people are kind of a little irritated. I know both me and Des follow this guy named Jordan from Physical Paradise, the YouTube channel, that some people are not happy with the game key cards on there. They want different solutions. So there's other people out there, especially there's a certain segment of gamers that they monitor if a full game's on the cartridge or a disc, and want to be able to have the full game on the card or disc because they want to own it. They actually want to be able to say, like 30 years down the line, they don't have to ping a server to be able to download the game if need be. And I totally understand that for sure. So,
yeah, I understand that as well.
Yep. So, anything to add, Kev? I know you're not on the Switch 2 train. I know you made your point known last episode. So,
no, I got nothing to add.
Got it. Yeah, I figured that much. So, all right. Next thing we're going to talk about is Switch's the CD Projekt Red's Switch 2 Cyberpunk 2077. So, what they stated about the game is that they are actually working off the PS4, Xbox One version of the game to create the Switch 2 version on there. So, that's the version of the game that struggled to run well on last gen consoles at launch. And of course, the Phantom Liberty, when that expansion came out, they did not release that for PS4 or the Xbox One version. They only released that for the PS5, Xbox Series consoles on there. So the CD Projekt Red is taking that base code that they have, and they're working off it to create the Switch 2 version of the game. Right now, they're targeting a 1080p resolution in TV quality mode, TV performance mode, and handheld quality mode. And they also have a 720p performance mode and handheld performance mode as well. They said that if you're using it docked, there's going to be more power available, but the game does use DLSS also as well portably on there. And what they asked about the status of the game, they basically said they have been working on improving the game, and bringing the Ultimate Edition to Nintendo Switch 2. They were able to build on the top of that already solid base of the PS4, Xbox One version. They still have some challenges, of course, but they've been picking trade-offs not to compromise the game's vision, quote unquote. They said they haven't been fighting to fit the game into memory, and the speed of the data storage has helped us to alleviate some of those early streaming problems on here. As far as the writers of this article from GameFile, they were able to confirm that they were able to see, I guess, some issues about texture pop-in in the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game. That's what CD Projekt Red was referring to on there. So yeah, I guess what they're using right now, they're using a version of DLSS on the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware that's powered by NVIDIA's Tensor cores. It's going to use DLSS in all 4 modes of the game. So technically impressive. I'm not sure for me if I want to play Cyberpunk 2 on my Switch. I think that it's kind of novel to be able to play that game on the go or play it docked. But I think for both myself, and I don't want to speak for you, Des, is Cyberpunk something you're interested in on your Switch 2?
No, and that's the thing that the problem with that is I kind of want to do it. But at the same time, I know that I already have the game, and I got the game super cheap when it was $8 at Target, a long time ago. And so I don't know if that's the game that I want to buy. I mean, some people are saying, yes, you should buy it because CD Projekt Red is putting it on an actual cart. The game is on the cart, full game, and you should be supporting that. So part of me is like, so I don't know. At this point, it really depends on how much disposable income I have at the time when it's time to buy this. That's really what it comes down to, because if I ain't got nothing, then there's nothing I can do about it. So.
Yeah, for me, I'm Switch 2 is Mario Kart and then everything else, Donkey Kong Bonanza and maybe a game or two besides here. I'm not jonesing to pick up expansions of games that I've already owned on other platforms just to play it on the go on the Switch. I mean, I looked at the Yakuza 0 Director's Cut on there, but I'm sure that they'll release that version at some point for other platforms. And so, it's just the point. I want to concentrate on the games I want to play on the Switch 2, which is the considerable Switch 1 backlog I have. And then, the kind of pick and choose, especially with the games being a little bit more pricey on Switch 2.
Yeah.
It might be a thing to where, obviously, I don't know, maybe we'll wait for another Japan trip to go pick up some games on the cheap. You never know. But
maybe.
You never know. So, but it's good that they are working on that at least. And, got to give them kudos, so. Also getting kudos is GOG. They have been working on their initiative to kind of bring some games back into market. And this next game that they recently just brought out on GOG as far as their archival master series is a game that was never even originally released on PC. So GOG and Capcom released the PC version of Breath of Fire 4
I
on
saw
here.
that. Ooh, wait.
Yeah, so Breath of Fire 4 first launched on PlayStation. It came out on PC way back in the day, back in May of 2003 on here. So they have worked with Capcom. They got the game back out. It is $9.99 for PC. Basically, what they've worked on is they worked on to make sure that you could play it on modern PC, PCs if need be. There's full compatibility with Windows 10 and 11. They put both localizations of the game are included, both the English and Japanese, and they did a lot of improvements. So they made sure that there's new rendering options. They got like a window mode on here. They have an improved audio engine, improved keyboard and mouse support, so on and so forth. And they got full support for modern controllers with the game too. That includes DualSense, DualShock 4, Xbox Series, Xbox One controllers, Nintendo Switch, with optimal button binding, vibration, hot plugging, and wireless mode. Gotta love that hot plugging. Ooh, boy. But GOG has worked with Capcom before. They did a remaster or a kind of archival version of the original Dino Crisis as well. That came out on PC. So more and more, especially if once I start gaming more on PC, I'm going to look at GOG, and especially, I've kind of gotten a nice little archive of GOG games because, Amazon Prime has free games and half of them go through GOG. And so, Des, are you thinking about picking up Breath of Fire 4 again for $10? Or I know you don't really game on PC. That's the whole rub.
That's the thing. I don't know. Like, I think about it, and I think about maybe getting it for my Switch. Sorry, my Switch, my Steam Deck, because I'm really trying to force myself to do a lot of stuff on computer gaming because I have I have the ability to do computer gaming, and it's like sometimes I think that I'm really kind of like missing out. So maybe maybe I don't know. I really have to think about it.
Take a look at my Steam Deck because I believe you have to load a third-party launcher onto the Steam Deck for you to be able to play any games off GOG. But it's not that big of a deal to get the separate launcher for it. So It's like a third-party API basically thing to be able to do that. So, but I thought it was kind of cool that they brought this game back. I mean, hopefully in GOG maybe they'll work on bringing it out for other platforms besides PC. But we'll have to see. I know PC is their bread and butter per se, so. But
we'll see.
We'll see. I know that game's still available on PSN if you really want to buy it. So I think you got to go on to the PS3 store to be able to do that too, which is crazy. So. All right, next thing I want to talk about, Star Wars Celebration just occurred in Japan. And one of the games that they announced at Star Wars Celebration was Respawn's Star Wars Zero Company. So this is a tactical RPG. It reveals a quote-unquote gritty Clone Wars story on here. So this is a single-player turn-based tactics game that's being developed by this company called Bit Reactor in collaboration with Respawn. On here, it's coming out for PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S on here, and from what was talked about, and I love tactical RPGs myself, and especially if they're able to hit this off, especially being in the Clone Wars universe, it looks like it might be something that would be semi-decent from EA, so we'll have to see about this. Des, are you on the play some tactical Star Wars RPG goodness?
Yeah, I always I'm a fan of Star Wars. I will definitely play Star Wars games, especially if it's an RPG. It just really depends on how they're going to I guess the word is how they're going to make it. I don't want to say new, but it really just depends on on if it's a full-fledged RPG. Like I'm still waiting for my remake of KOTOR and KOTOR 2. So, and given the strength of Oblivion, we might see that sooner than later. So, but yeah, I'm definitely down for a new like full-on Star Wars RPG if they're willing to give it to us. I don't think they are, but hope springs eternal, right, my friends?
Of course, yeah. This particular developer, BitReactor, it's a new studio that's formed by veterans of XCOM and Civilization Studio for Axis Games. So they got the chops. It's just the point of hopefully they could pull this off. I mean, and here I thought maybe they'd do another Jedi game like Jedi Survivor and Jedi. What's the other one? Forgot off the top of my head. So, but I know EA got those games out pretty quick from Respawn. I just hopefully, we'll see what else comes out Star Wars video game wise. Kev, are you kind of a little bit? I mean, are you looking for another Star Wars game like in a particular genre that would kind of fit your fancy a little bit better?
The only one that would come close to that would be the Force Unleashed games, but I don't think they're ever gonna do.
No,
they're never gonna do a Star Wars game like that again. I've got that on Steam, and I think I've loaded the mod that lets you hack everybody to pieces. I'm not sure. I'll have to next time I check into that. I'll have to look into it. But yeah, Force Unleashed, particularly the first one. The second one was garbage, but the first one was that. In my opinion, as someone who is not super into Star Wars lore, I take that was not only a great game, but it was peak Star Wars storytelling. It was like you have a dude that Darth Vader basically kidnapped and more or less raised as his own, and he just basically tried to use him as a tool to get to loot. I mean, it's like, basically just, to me, that's peak Star Wars lore and peak Star Wars storytelling. So, but we're never going to see a game like that again. I just couldn't get into the Jedi Cunningham games, as Jabroni always calls them. I couldn't get into the character. I couldn't get into the combat. I don't know. So I probably would be more interested in this game if it was more like oh gosh, what was the name of that Star Wars game? It was back on the I think it was an original Xbox exclusive, where you were stormtroopers, but you had to position your squad in strategic areas.
It doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, it was an
Is
original.
it like Dark Forces or something like that?
No, it was part first person shooter, part tactical. The thing is that you could command you were the commander of the squad. You had a heavy gunner, you had an explosives expert, and I think there was you who was carrying I guess whatever kind of blaster or standard machine gun, whatever they had in the Star Wars universe at that time. Mm-hmm. And I think there might have been one other person, and you had to place them and prepare for encounters.
Are you talking about KOTOR or?
No. It was you were stormtroopers. You were Clone War.
Battle something other.
Yeah,
I remember it, but yeah, I mean,
that was fun, and I normally don't like games like that where you gotta plan and do all that. Like the tactical RPG is definitely not in my wheelhouse, so I will be skipping that. But if it was closer to something like the game I just described, I'd be more into that one.
We're down, huh?
Yeah.
I'm looking at original Xbox Star Wars games. It's Star Wars Clone Wars, I think, is one that's listed there, but I wasn't sure. They had also Jedi Survivor, I think, and Battlefront and Battlefront 2 for the original
It
Xbox.
was Star Wars, Storm Commandos.
Oh, okay. I'll have to do a little bit more research.
It was something like that, and I had it because I remember playing it, and it was a crap ton of fun. But yeah. And it was for
now, one game you will like, though, Kevin, is that Sony Interactive Entertainment, out of the blue, no event, no nothing. They just dropped a new trailer for Ghost of Yotei. So Ghost of Yotei is coming out on October the 2nd for PlayStation 5. And pre-orders.
It was called Republic Commando.
There you go.
Yeah. Star Wars Republic Commando. That's what it was called.
Well,
continue.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, Ghost of Yotei did get announced, so there's a trailer on there if you want to check it out on here. Basically, it gives you kind of the plot of the game if need be. And then also talked about the pre-order stuff. So basically, as of May 2nd, you'll be able to pre-order the game, your local time zone, and be able to select different editions, including their amazing collector's edition. Oh boy, you can't line up for another PlayStation collector's edition. So the collector's edition on PlayStation includes a digital copy of the game, a digital deluxe edition, a replica display edition of Itsu's Ghost Mask. I guess that mask is built to scale with Jin's mask from the Ghost of Tsushima collector's edition. So you have both. They look great next to each other on a shelf. Oh boy. Ooh. Mask on a shelf. Including that is a replica of Atsu's sash, complete with names of all 6 members of the Yotai 6. The sash includes 71 inches long. It measures 71 inches long. It is made of a cotton blend. So that's a perfect cosplay accessory or wall decoration. There's also a replica of the Tsuba from Etsu's katana. On here, it's obviously 3x3 inches, and also includes its own display stand. All that for $249.99. Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, I've been kind of gone with Sony Collector's Edition, especially their first party stuff, because they don't put a disc in the box. Now I'm not down with collecting all this other knick-knack stuff, especially if I don't know if I'm gonna dig the game or not. I'm pretty sure I will. At the same time, it's just a lot to ask for all that collector's business. I think you guys, let us know out there, those that are listening, but do you go for collector's editions anymore? I'd be kind of curious if anyone still is out there trying to grab all the doodads in a $300 box. So.
I buy collector editions, but I don't spend hundreds of dollars on them. I just got the collection edition of Cuisinier for Switch. Got it for $40, day one edition with this soundtrack and art book and all this other stuff. So
that's reasonably priced. Yeah, especially companies like Xseed or NIS, they seem like they wrap up and do a damn decent job with a collector's edition on there. It's just, I find that I think my breaking point is around maybe $129, $100, because it's I want to see art book. I want to see a steel book. That's what I'm angling for. I'm not one of, if it has 20 acrylic standees or something, I know the Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D collector's edition just came out. It was $200 and included 20 acrylic standees and a soundtrack sampler and some other stuff.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, it's just too much. But I'm kind of I know Ghost of Yotei is going to kick some ass. I went ahead and I downloaded Ghost of Tsushima again. It's on my PlayStation. I want to play it. It's a game I egregiously have never played on here. Yeah, both of you probably beat me to the edge of my life, because I should be.
People run through and do stuff when they got to do it. It's fine. Just know that you're missing out, buddy. That's all.
Got it. Now, I'm assuming both of you are looking forward to the game as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Most
day
definitely.
one for me.
Mm-hmm.
It is a day one for me. The only I would only be interested in this to flip it. Um, and to be honest, I don't know if this one is going to be as lucrative as like the original one, because like the original Ghost of Tsushima Collector's Edition is selling for about anywhere from 650 to $700
Oh
online.
wow.
So I would do it
Wow.
if I felt confident that this one would bring that kind of profit. I don't know if it will. And I think it has a more. I think Ghost of Tsushima had the physical disc in it as well. I might be mistaken, but I want to say that it did. And yeah, I'm gonna have to like try and judge the excitement before I try to get one. I can kick myself in the butt for not getting the first one, because I actually thought about getting one, as my plan was like to get the collector's edition and just kind of hold on to it, and just get the standard edition as well, but I didn't. So, but that first one is going for a lot of money right now. So that would be my
Uh,
only interest. That would be my only interest as far as my personal thing of collecting special edition games for myself. The last one was Ninja Gaiden 3, and I just have no desire of getting a whole bunch of stuff that I have no room for. Really have no desire to make space for, and just let it collect dust somewhere. I don't have a stand for figurines. I'm not into figures like that. So most of this stuff, particularly on the Sony side, would just be stuff that would just wind up sitting somewhere collecting dust, cluttering a corner of my home, and I have no personal use for it. But like I said, my only interest in this would be financial. So
Got it.
I just give me a like a special edition with a steel book in the game and the damn box. I'll give you some additional money, but you know, I haven't talked about steel books as much lately because there hasn't been a lot of traction with steel books out there as of late. So, last but not least, we round up this Jabroni gaming news for this episode. The release date was announced for Super Robot Wars Y on here. So
Woohoo.
Robot Wars Y, if I could talk, is going to be coming out on August 28th on here. It's coming out for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 5, and PC via Steam. This title will feature new appearances from SSS Dynazenon, Godzilla Singular Point, and Mobile Suit Gundam The Witch from Mercury Season 1, amongst others on here. So they have the the greatest like collector's edition if you do want all the digital content for $94.99, which includes all of the downloadable content, includable missions, bonus side pack, which is kind of crazy. In the Ultimate Edition's $119.99, but the thing about Bandai Namco is that the Ultimate Edition has all the licensed music from all the anime that they take mecha from in these games on here. So if you want to hear the actual like theme songs with lyrics and whatnot, by all means, pony out that cash on there for that. But it's kind of cool that this series has become so, before, me and Des, if we wanted to play any Super Robot War games, we'd have to import a Asian version physical from Play Asia to be able to play it. And that's the only way you were able to get it into English. But they're releasing this on Steam outright. So, they'll be able to collect the money out throughout the entire world
Woohoo.
by releasing it worldwide, at least digitally on there. So look forward to that on there. Have you, I know you've bought a couple of Super Robot War games, Des. Have you played them at all, or have you tried any of them?
Yes. Actually, no, I haven't. I have them. I looked at them. I tried. I turned them on to see that they actually worked, but I haven't actually sat
Oh,
down.
actually have English. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Same thing with me. I tend to buy now and play later. Buy too much and not play later. But we'll see. That is the Jabroni Gaming News for this episode.
All right, so game night takes place. We're moving the day to Thursdays again. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. That is the date and time that we've selected to be able to play games with our growing Discord community. So if you have a game that you would like to play, please post it in our Discord. And come Thursday, me or the hosts of the show and our Discord community members will be more than happy to play with you. So you might be asking, well, how do I join the Discord? Well, you just head over to Blue Sky. We're no longer on the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X.
Goodbye, X. Bye.
We are on Blue Sky now,
Yes.
and YouTube. So if you can even post in our comment section on our YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. And I got to come up with something clever to say about Blue Sky. The X was just so much. That joke just wrote itself. But I gotta find something for Blue Sky.
One podcast I listen to, they don't call it Blue Sky. They've been calling it Blue Ski for some reason. So.
Blue Ski. Blue Ski. Okay.
Good old Blue Ski. Yes.
Go
and
Blue
then
Ski.
another podcast I listen to, basically they go into the Blue Sky theme from Daytona, USA, which is like awesome. So.
Yeah. I'll have to work on that.
That's
but anyway,
sure.
reach out to us on Blue Sky. Reach out to us on our YouTube comments. In order to join, you just click the link in the bio and you're in. We got no merch to hawk to you. We have no Patreon tier list for you to pay for. Just ask you to be a decent person who likes talking about and playing video games. I think you'll find a wonderful home here aboard the good ship Gaming Vessel. So, folks, that's going to bring episode 279 to a close. I want to thank y'all for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out, without a doubt, with us this episode. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Lover.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that Gamer Stepdaddy, and for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I am Sean of 71, a.k.a. Diggadoodlemite.
I'm supposed to say purple bling bling here. Yeah.
Indeed,
really
indeed. And we'll be back next week, episode 280, for your ears. Peace.